Mm. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. What's good? I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to log on because I know I didn't send a notification for this. So I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to log on. Wait till I see a couple of people log in. Sure. Everything's good. Make sure I got mine set. Make sure. Okay. Almost there. Good morning. I know I'm a little hoarse. What's up, everybody? Good. Hello, Don. How are you? Long time no see. What's up? What's up? What's good? Good morning, everyone. It is your girl, your diva and knowledge, Lady Mocha, here at Mocha's Cafe de Paris. No, I'm looking a hot mess. I ain't put my face on or none of that this morning, but all is well. I know it's been a minute. What's up, T193? Good to see you. I know I promised everybody I was going to do a video last night. I assured everybody I was going to do that. I believe it was last week, and I was just way too exhausted. I was just way too tired. As I told all y'all before, in case you forgot, I am in the middle of doing police academy training. So it's been very exhausting mentally, physically, emotionally. So I just don't have the same amount of time that I used to have. So, I'll make sure I don't make any promises that I know I can't keep unless I know for a fact that my schedule is free. So I had good intentions, but like I said, I'm in the middle of police academy training, and it's just a lot. It's a lot. So my timing is just, I don't have a lot of time like I used to, which is why I decide I have to do a quick live video whenever I can, because I got to squeeze it in wherever I can squeeze it in at. But on that note, I want to thank everybody for tuning in this morning. Thought it was very imperative that I did this particular topic today, for the simple fact that there are a lot of men out there who are getting abused. A lot of us as female bloggers, we always talk about what women go through. We always talk about the stuff that women got to deal with. We always are talking about how women are abused, how women are used, how women are taken advantage of. We're constantly, all the time, we're constantly only sympathizing with other women. And the problem is, a lot of women are not understanding. It's a lot of men out there who get verbally, emotionally, and physically abused too. Abuse is not just an issue for women. You have a lot of brothers, you have a lot of men out there who, just as much as women, got to deal with all type of emotional abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse. And the reason we don't talk about this as much is because, for one, not many men are going to verbalize it because of their ego. Men have pride. Men are not going to tell too many other brothers, and men are not going to confide in too many other women, because for the most part, women will always kind of giving brothers a lot of heat. We don't show too many men compassion. There's not too many women that will show other men compassion, because we're in this world where women feel like abuse is only something that women go through, and that's far from the truth. You have a lot of men out there who, just like women, have to deal with emotional, verbal. What's up, Seven? Good morning. I'm so glad to see you. It's a lot of men out there. They're dealing with all types of abuse. What's up, Terrence? Good morning. It's a lot of men out there that deal with all type of emotional, verbal, and physical abuse. And the problem is, we want to sweep it up under the rug. We only want to talk about what the women go through. We only want to talk about the abuse women encounter, but we don't want to talk about the men and the stuff that men got to deal with. It's a lot of sisters out there that take a lot of brothers, take their humbleness for weakness, because you have some guys out there, for the most part, they don't believe in putting their hands on a woman. You have some men who have been raised to respect a woman regardless of how foul she is at the mouth, regardless of how much she does not know how to keep her hands to herself. You have a lot of brothers, you have a lot of men. You do got some abusive guys out there who will put their lay hands on a woman, who will fight a woman, and that's not cool and that's not healthy. But why are we not talking about these women who don't have a problem with putting their hands on a man, who don't have a problem with getting up in a man's face, challenging his manhood, calling him out, provoking him, challenging him? Why we don't talk about stuff like that? Why we only want to talk about what the women got to deal with, what the women got to go through? What about what these brothers got to deal with? It's a lot of guys I have witnessed experience a lot of abuse, verbally, physically, and again, it's not too many. We don't talk about this topic because, again, like I stated before, a lot of guys, a lot of you men, you have what's called pride. You have what's called ego. So if you are getting abused verbally or emotionally, you're not going to tell anybody. And that's the reason why we don't talk about it. It's not because it does not exist. Men do get abused. I'm going to repeat that. Men do get abuse. The problem is the reason why we don't think that's true, because it's not too many men that are going to talk about it. They've been raised to let a woman beat them in the head with a scooter. Yep, true, Terrence. It's not too many men that are going to tell their homeboys, going to tell other guys, hey, my old lady, she can't keep her hands to herself. My old lady, she will fight me. My old lady, my girlfriend, my baby mama ain't got a problem putting her hands on me. She ain't got a problem challenging my manhood. She makes me feel less than a man. She emotionally tears me down. And a lot of times we think because men are men, we think men do not have feelings. And the thing is, women, men do have feelings. They have feelings. When you sit up there and you tell a man, you ain't shit, you ain't nobody, you ain't no real man, you don't make enough money, I don't feel like you can live up to the standards that I want. It's a lot of women who are very foul at the mouth, who have no filter, who are very disrespectful. You got some women out here that's just as ruthless as some of these abusive ass men out here. You got some women that are very abusive, and the chances of running, and the chances are even higher that a lot of you brothers out here are going to run into abusive women. And I'm gonna tell you why. The majority of y'all are going to run into the majority of abusive women. One reason is a lot of these women have been raised in abusive households, meaning that they have either experienced their father beating on their mother, or either they witnessed their mother being like the head of the household, to where she always ran the man and told the man what to do. You got some women who have grown up in households where the woman always ran the show. You have some brothers back in the day who have been very spineless. You got some men who have been very spineless from back in the day, where they would let their woman pretty much call the shots and run everything. You have some households that are like that. Back then, if a woman grew up in a household where she witnessed her mother run everything and her father just kind of stood there and took it, and he didn't have a backbone, and he let the woman run the show, she's going to feel like she can do that with any man she meets. You have a lot of women who don't have a problem abusing men because they seen the woman who raised them abuse their father. Okay, so believe it or not all men are king of the castles. You have a lot of men who are very spineless, who will sit back and let a woman say what she wants to say out of her mouth, disrespect them, have no filter. And if that woman has a daughter who witnesses her talking to her father like that, her mom talking to her husband all kind of way, that's going to become her norm. A majority of some of these women are very verbally and emotionally abusive towards you men because, again, they grew up in a household with a man that was spineless. Their father didn't have a backbone. Their father didn't put their foot down. They saw their mama talk to their father all kind of way, handle their father all kind of way. So if you deal with a woman who grew up in that type of environment, 9 times out of 10, that's exactly what she's going to do with you. Okay, so if you're going to get involved with a woman, make sure you know the dynamics of her background. Because if you go to her family cookout or you go to her family event and you see how her mother talks to her dad all kind of way, you think she's not going to learn that? If you see that her mom can say anything she wants to say to her father, you don't think she's going to have those same character traits, those characteristics? You don't think if she grew up in a household and she saw her father sit there spineless and take all kind of crap off her mother, she's going to do the same thing. You don't want to deal with a woman who grew up in a household and her mother called all the shots, because that is her norm. That is what she's used to. And she will be a concubine, not a wife. Exactly, 7. So you don't want to deal to you men. You do not want to deal with a woman who grew up in a household where her mama ran everything and the daddy just sat there spineless like a welcome mat rug, and her mother was able to walk all over her father. She's going to think she can do that same thing to you, because you got to realize that is the woman who raised her. That is the woman who produced her. And a lot of times we are cut from the same cloth, okay? Another thing that men need to be cautious of when it comes to dealing with abusive women. Do not deal with women who have this hood rat mentality. Okay, you have a lot of these females that grew up very hood, meaning that not just so much just from the hood or growing up in the projects. I don't mean hood just in the dynamics of where a woman actually lives, okay? Because I know some sisters who been born and raised in the suburbs and still got a very hood ass mentality. And I know some women who grew up in the projects, who probably grew up from the slums, and they have strayed away from that hood or project mentality and are trying to live differently from the environment they came from. So when I say hood, I'm talking so much about her mentality, not where she lives or not where she come from. She needs to see me once a month, not every week. But true, 7, yeah. So meaning that if you deal with a woman, if you deal with a female who basically has experienced a hard knock life, she's used to brothers talking to her all kind of way. She's one of those around the block chicks. She's been had by many different men. She's have a very promiscuous past. When you deal with women who have a very promiscuous past, them been with all kind of men, pretty much been all over the block like an Uber driver. When you deal with them kind of women like that are most likely to have a lot of self-esteem issues. And whenever you're dealing with a woman that has a lot of self-esteem issues, if she's lacking self-esteem, what makes you think she's going to give you something that she doesn't have? She cannot provide you with, she can't make you feel whole like a man if she doesn't feel whole like a woman. If she feels incomplete like a woman, if she feels less than a woman, if she's lacking with self-esteem, if she's lacking with dignity, guys, you cannot expect a woman to give you something that she does not have for herself. It's not going to happen. If she feels like she's to the bottom of the barrel, what makes you think she's going to build you up and make you feel significant? What makes you think she's going to make you feel like a whole, what makes you think she can make you feel like a man when she doesn't even have all of what she needs to be a full-grown woman? Okay, when you're dealing with women who come from the hard knock life, who done grew up in the struggle, who lack self-esteem, who lack dignity, she's going to, unfortunately, try to bring that same feeling of unworthiness. She's going to try to pass that to you, because you have to realize low self-esteem is toxic. It's toxic and it's contagious. If you're dealing with a woman that does not have no value in her self-worth, she does not value herself, she has self-esteem problems, she's not going to build you up. She's not going to make you feel like a man if she doesn't have all of what she needs to make herself feel like a woman. So if she's one of those women, she grew up hard, she's been with all kind of men and guys have not stood by her, she's haven't been real successful with relationships. Men come and go, like she's a correctional facility. She got all kind of men coming in and out her life, like she's a state penitentiary jail. If you're dealing with a woman that's not used to stability and not used to having a solid relationship, all of that takes a token on a woman's self-esteem. When a woman has been used and she's been had by too many, what happens is, like when you take a used car you drive it off the lot, the value depreciates itself. Am I correct? Same thing with a woman who has been all over the block. who has been had by too many men. If she had too many baby daddies, let's say if she don't have too many baby daddies, she could be a woman that don't have no children. Guess what? Just because a woman does not have children, that doesn't mean she's not promiscuous now. You cannot believe for a second. What's up, EE? Good morning, love. Thank you for stopping by. Just because a woman does not have kids, that does not make her less promiscuous than a woman who has 8, 9 baby daddies, okay? The only difference is it's not as obvious that she's promiscuous because she doesn't have a lot of children. She has not produced any children. So you cannot figure because a woman does not have children, she does not have a promiscuous past, or she doesn't have whorish tendencies, okay? All whores don't have kids, okay? All baby mom, it's not just baby mamas that are whorish, or baby mamas who have been with all kind of dudes. It's some women who are walking around here who don't have any children, who don't have child one, and just as whorish and promiscuous as some of these women out here who got 9, 10 baby daddies, okay? So don't get fooled because you see a woman who don't have any children, okay? She could be just as promiscuous as a woman who got 10, 11 kids. Only difference between a woman who has 10, 11 kids that's promiscuous versus a woman who has no children promiscuous, she just don't have the children to show for. Okay? Let's not get it twisted. Whorishness is on all kind of levels, okay? She could be a business-minded woman, wear a double-breasted suit, own her own law firm, have her own real estate business. That does not make her less of a whore compared to a girl who lives in the projects with 8, 9 baby daddies. Only difference is she can conceal her whorism more because she makes good money. She owns her own business. You know, she doesn't have any children. You know what I mean? So don't believe the hype. Just because you don't see a woman with kids, that do not make her less of a whore. Okay, so again, you have to look at all the dynamics of that when you're dealing with a woman. If you're dealing with a woman, again, who has a history of being with all kind of men, who have been all over the place, I don't care if she lives in the projects, I don't care if she owns her own goddamn dealership. That does not make her less of a whore. Now, hold on, let me sip my cappuccino on that. Anyway, as I was stating, you have a lot of brothers out here who are experiencing all kind of emotional, verbal, and physical abuse. Now, you have a lot of guys out there, unfortunately, the ones who have children from these kind of women, y'all are going to feel a funk worse compared to these men who don't have any children from these kind of women. Because the good thing about being a man, if you don't have children from these type of women, you can easily walk away from a woman who verbally mistreats you, who emotionally mistreats you, who physically mistreats you. If you don't have any children from this woman, you can easily walk away and just dust your hands off, and you can walk away. But for you men who have children from these kind of women, who are emotionally, verbally, and physically abusive towards you, you guys have to definitely be careful, because the truth of the matter is, as long as she has children from you, okay? And when you deal with women, if you have a emotional, abusive, verbal, physical abusive baby mama, basically meaning that she makes you feel like less of a man. Even though you working your ass off, you try to send her money every chance you get. You try to help her, you know, with the child y'all have together. You try to step in, you try to step up, you try to do the best you can. You ain't no rich guy, you know, and just because, let's face it, guys, you don't have to be rich to be a good father, okay? Because it's some men out there who are rich and all they know how to do is write their baby mamas a check. That don't mean they're a good dad, okay? So don't feel less of a man, don't feel less of a father, because you can't write this heifer no big checks for child support every month, okay? Because a dollar cannot always replace a father, okay? So don't feel less of a man, don't feel like you are less of a father, because you cannot write her no big checks, okay? Because money does not replace having a man that in your father's life. Money is a necessity, okay? But when you're dealing with an emotionally abusive, scorned woman, she will make you feel like all of what you do is not good enough, okay? You could be a dedicated father, sending all you can every week, but in her mind, if you're dealing with a woman that's emotionally and verbally abusive, she's going to always make you feel like your best is not good enough. She's going to always knock whatever you do, even though you know in your heart you are doing your best, you are giving your best, you working your ass off, you trying to do everything you can in your power to be the best dad you can be. When you're dealing with a low common denominator broad who does have no filter, she lacks self-esteem, she lacks filter, she does not know how to talk to you like you're a grown man, she does not know how to respect you as a grown-ass man. When you're dealing with women like that, they're going to always make you feel like your best is not enough. And you know where that comes from, guys? It has nothing to do with you. What she's doing is she's taking it out on you, but it has nothing to do with you. A lot of time, people treat you the way they see themselves. Okay? I cannot make you, how can I give you something that I don't have for me? How can I make you feel like you valuable? Well, I don't have no value. How can I make you feel like I appreciate you when I don't appreciate myself? The majority of the problem with a lot of us as women, we have what's called displaced anger. Yes, a lot of us, we take out our negative energy on you men for the fact that we are not where we need to be in life. We don't have all of what we need for ourselves. So what happens is, especially women who lack low self-esteem, we look for you men to make us whole. And the whole bottom line is, it is not your job to make us whole. Okay? To all of you men out there, it is not your job to make a woman feel whole. I don't care how much pipe you give her. I don't care how beautiful you tell her she is every day. If she's a woman who lacks low self-esteem, you're not going to make her feel whole but so much. She's going to always look for something else, because it's that void. It's that shallow void that only God can fill. That it's not enough. You can't fill it with your penis. You can't fill it with your compliments. I don't care how many Coach bags, Michael Kors bags. I don't care how much stuff you buy her. You cannot fulfill a woman with low self-esteem. You can't do it. I don't care if you increase the child support. Okay? You can increase the child support. It still would never be enough. You cannot please a woman who lacks low self-esteem. Okay? So, for all you brothers out there who got children from these kind of women, like I said, she's going to make you feel like your best is not good enough. She's going to make you feel like you're less than a man. She's going to sit up there and say, exactly, 7. She's going to sit up there and say, you don't give me enough money. You don't do this enough. She's going to always knock whatever you try to do as a father, whatever you try to do as a man. She's going to always try to find the worst in it. And the reason a lot of women cannot find the best in you as a man, because she doesn't see the best in herself as a woman. Okay? And a lot of women, we are our own worst enemy when it comes to that. We want these men to fulfill all of the voids that are missing in our life. When the truth of the matter is, before you get with any man out there, don't look for that man to make you whole. You make yourself whole first before you go deal with this man. Okay? We expect too much out of these men. We expect them to help us to present that image that we want so badly to impress our girlfriends with. We want so badly to impress our sisters, our mamas. The problem with a lot of us as women is we are more concerned about our image than our well-being. We're more concerned about impressing friends who really don't have no more than we do. We trying to impress family. We trying to impress mama. We trying to impress daddy. It's too many of us as women that are focusing on our image. We're too busy trying to impress. We're too busy trying to showboat. You know, you have to be honest with your situation, ladies. If you know you met this man and he was down on his luck, And now, and you knew when you met him, he didn't have this job that pays some $25 an hour. You know, he don't have all his education. You know, he don't have all these credentials that suit your image of what you perceive as the perfect man. So you would get with this man knowing he did not have all of what you wanted him to have, and now you hate him, you resent him because he can't help you present this package that you want your girlfriends to believe, that you want your family to believe. It's a lot of guys, a lot of you men, y'all are broke and struggling. You working 9 to 5, you killing yourself. That's why a lot of you men are having strokes, y'all are having heart attacks, because y'all are trying to live the image that your wife wants you to perceive, that your wife wants you to perceive, or your baby mama wants you to perceive. You know, y'all don't have the type of finances to present the image that she wants you to present. You around here buying big old houses and paying big old mortgages that you know you can't afford. Exactly, 7. Thank you. He said it better. Trying to live for women, not for themselves. It's a lot of you men who are killing yourselves and giving yourself strokes, giving yourself heart attacks. Y'all have yourself in a lot of debt, trying to impress a woman who's really trying to impress her friends, trying to impress her mama, trying to impress her daddy, because her mama made her believe, her mother programmed in her mind, you supposed to have this kind of man. You supposed to live this kind of life. You supposed to have this and have that. When the truth of the matter is, all of us are not going to always be able to present that life like George and Wheezy from the Jeffersons, okay? Everybody's not going to be able to live in an expensive high-rise apartments with the maid and the chef and all of this other stuff, okay? A lot of you men are having strokes and heart attacks because you allow trying to please a woman to put you in debt. You got these big old houses you know you can't afford. Mortgage is $1,500, $2,000 a month. You barely, behind closed doors, you suffering. You struggling, trying to help the woman you love or help the woman you please. You are struggling trying to help her uphold this image that you know you cannot afford to keep helping her preserve. Okay? You know you can't afford no $1,200, $1,500 a month rent. You around here got these cars, car notes, $700, $800 a month, buying her BMWs, buying her Mercedes. Now, if you making bread like that, then this message, this content isn't for you. If you the kind of man, you make good money, you're not struggling, it's not hurting you, then to each its own. But if you know you are exactly T13, if you know you are not built and you don't have it like that, you are going to give yourself a massive heart attack. I've seen so many men end up having bad health trying to please a woman and live up to an image that he know he cannot afford to live up to. He says sometimes mamas need to mind their business, let their children over their lives. Don't give back. Exactly. And you know what, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's a problem with a lot of us as women. We be too busy trying to impress mama. We too busy trying to impress girlfriends, and we be trying to impress people who don't even have what they want us to have. Do you notice that? A lot of you women, y'all still are trying to please your mama, because your mama made you feel like, since you've been a little old girl, you're supposed to marry a lawyer. You're supposed to marry a doctor. Your husband should have you in this kind of house. Your man should have you in this kind of car. When the truth of the matter is, life don't always go that way. Okay? Some your ideal man, your ideal may not be a man who's a lawyer, who's a doctor, you know, who owns his own law firm or whatever. Your ideal man, your soulmate, may be a man who drives trucks for a living, who works for the sanitation department. A man's occupation should not define you seeing him as a potential soulmate or not. You know, because just because a man is a lawyer or a doctor and makes good money, that don't mean y'all are compatible. And it's a lot of miserable couples out there, ladies and gentlemen, that are miserable because they know they're not compatible. They're with each other for the wrong reasons. You have a lot of couples that are together, but basically because of image. There's no chemistry. There's no connection. They really don't vibe. They're really not on the same level. They really in different wavelengths in life. You know, their goals and their ambitions is not the same. But a lot of couples, they're not with each other for the right reasons. You have some men who choose a particular woman not because she's a good woman, but because she looks good. Because she's the kind of woman he could bring around his friends, where his friends could be like, oh man, she look good. Where you got her from? She fine. She this and that. Yeah, your homeboys and everybody giving you all these compliments and give you all these props, telling you how good your old lady look, telling you how fine your wife is, telling you how good your wife look. But behind closed doors, you miserable as hell because she can't cook. She can't clean, you know, she ain't worth a goddamn, you know, she don't handle no business. She leaves everything on you to handle. So be careful going behind somebody because of their looks. Because I'm going to tell you, sooner or later, it's going to catch up. You're going to be miserable. You're going to get tired of having this good-looking woman who ain't worth a nickel and a dime, okay? All she know how to do is look good. Basically, just a mannequin. Like, you know, a mannequin, you know, when you go into a clothing store and you see these mannequins in the windows that dress good and look good. You know how the mannequin have on a nice clothes, the mannequin have on a nice shoes. You know how these stores make these mannequins look good. And like most mannequins can fit anything and mannequins look good. But what the thing is with mannequins don't have a brain. Okay, and a lot of you brothers, because I'm going to get on y'all too, a lot of y'all are married to mannequins. Y'all are married to women who look good, you know, who know how to dress and know how to go to the gym and know how to do this, know how to look like she could be a cast member from the Atlanta Housewives, and that's all she know how to do. She don't have no substance. She can't handle no business. She don't have no filter. God forbid if something was to happen to you, she would not know what to do. She don't know how to handle nothing. She don't know how to take care of anything. Instead of you worried about what a woman looks like, you need to make sure you're dealing with a woman who can help you handle your business. That's what it needs to be about. I told a member who keeps complaining about hate job. I said, well, first you have to stop him babysitting and stop calling about everything if you don't want him to say. Exactly, EE. Yes, it's a lot of you guys, like I said, y'all too busy running behind a woman because of how she looks. But she can't handle no business. You can't trust her. If something was to happen to you, if you was to roll over and die or drop dead today, can you trust this woman to handle business? Can you trust her to do the right thing? This is questions you need to ask yourself about. Instead of being so worried about what a woman has on her head, worry about what a woman has in her head. Can she handle her business? If something happened to you, can you trust her to do the right thing? What's up, Rep? How you doing? Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you for coming in. That's what I'm saying. But I know I'm digressing. But it's a lot of you men out here who are getting abused. And it's a saying that hurt people hurt people. I can't give you something I don't have. I cannot give you happiness if I'm not happy. I cannot make you feel complete as a man if I don't feel complete as a woman. Okay? I can't give you stability if I don't have stability. How I'm going to bring you peace in your life if I don't have no peace within? This is simple common sense. This is simple things that people need to think about. People don't think about stuff like this because we're too busy focusing on the physical attributes. We're too busy looking at what somebody looks like on the outside. We're not looking at where they are mentally, where they are emotionally. When you start getting involved with people, you need to start doing your research. You need to start doing your research. You need to find out a person's mental abilities. You need to find out their psychological abilities. Because everybody don't look like what the hell they done went through. Just because somebody, all people with mental illnesses and narcissism and bipolar, all of them don't look like they have bipolarism. What's up, junk pile? All women who are people who are bad off mentally and psychologically, that don't mean they're going to look like it. Some people around here are psychologically and emotionally damaged and look good. And look good. Exactly, Terrence. Do your background check. Stop looking at what somebody looks like on the outside. You need to make sure their brain, you need to make sure that they got some mental, they're wired mentally correct. Because there's a lot of people around here who look good, and same thing for you ladies. Just because a brother could wear nice, expensive gator shoes and a Armani suit, you better make sure he's not one of those guys that is psychologically damaged, psychologically off, because you have, again, people don't always look like what they are. And usually sometimes by the time you find out, it's too late. You done invested feelings, you done invested time, you don't put so much into a person. By the time you really find out how messed up they really are, because you're not doing your research. But I'm digressing. Again, you guys need to be careful, because as I stated, it's a lot of abusive women out here who are very abusive, who don't know how to treat a man like a man. As I stated earlier, for everybody who's coming in, the reason why I decided to do this topic is because it's a lot of female vloggers who will go on these channels and is constantly talking about what women go through, how women get abused. And don't forget the thumbs up, everybody. I appreciate that. We have all these female bloggers who come on YouTube, talk about what women go through, talk about how women get abused, how women are emotionally abused, how women are physically abused. Do we not understand there's women out there who cannot keep their hands to themselves, who will put their hands on a man in a heartbeat, and as soon as that man hits them back, they want to cry wolf and call the law? Do you realize that? It's women out here who don't have any discipline with their hands, who don't have any discipline with their mouth, have no filter. Men got feelings too. If you sit up here telling the man he ain't shit, he ain't this, he ain't that, he no good, he blah, 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 you think that emotionally is not going to take a toll on a man? If you are a woman and you talking to him like that, you belittling him, you making him feel like he ain't worth crap. And like I said, a lot of people treat you the way they see themselves. If I see myself like I ain't shit, I'm gonna feel like you ain't shit either. I'm just saying. Like, for real. Read some of y'all comments. Oh, you know how I do, EE. You should be used to me by now, honey. You already know how me and you like roommates by now. You done got used to my habits. I wish a woman would be called cause of that and I would press charges. Absolutely, rep, absolutely. And especially for you guys, you know, you can't look at this ego. You can't look at yourself less than a man. You do have to call the law on these women, because let me tell you something, the law done tightened up on that. The law is not letting these women just put their hands on men all kind of way and get away with it. The law ain't going there no more. The law is locking women up for domestic violence. If you have a woman that is putting her hands on you, and she's getting more and more bold, let me tell you something. If you're going through that right now, to any men in this chat room, if you're having a problem with a woman who is putting her hands on you, let me tell you something. The next time that happens, you better call the authorities, because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Eventually, she's going to catch you on the wrong day, at the wrong time. You're going to snap, and you're either going to hurt her by putting her in the grave, or you're going to physically fight her back to where she's going to flip the script and call the law on you, and you end up being the one getting in trouble when she been the one putting her hands on you all along. No, and that goes for men and women. Even though the content I'm doing today is specifically for the guys, but it should never, whenever another man or another woman has gotten comfortable with putting their hands on you, something is going to have to give. You're going to have to get the law involved, because either that or somebody going to end up in jail or somebody going to end up dead. It's going to be one. It's not going to be good. You have some people who are very, very, very comfortable with putting their hands on other people. Well, I don't understand that. If you are that miserable, you can't stand somebody, just leave them. It should never get to the point to where y'all are giving each other black eyes and you put each other in the hospital. It's just ridiculous. So many of these women who do that be their kids. And that's very true, Junk Pal. 9 times out of 10, if they fighting and beating on you as men, 9 times out of 10, they're doing it with the children. What's up, Ace Newman? Good to see you. To the grave. Absolutely. And you said a mouthful, Ace Newman. Ace says, the type of woman you describe ain't for me. She will reroute your purpose to the grave. And she or that next man will be spending your money and driving your car. I mean, it's the sad reality. And no, you are not a snitch if you call the cops. You as a man, men, you cannot allow your egos, you cannot allow your pride. It does not make you a punk if you call the police. Law enforcement is to serve the public, okay? Not to just serve women, all right? Okay? You don't, a woman is putting her hands on you. You have every right to get law enforcement involved. Because if you don't, I guarantee you, next time she will. She will. If you want to sit there and you let your ego and your pride, man, I ain't calling no police. I ain't about to have no police all up in my business. I'm a grown-ass man. I ain't about to let no police. Okay, well, you sit up there and you play with it. You entertain that same foolishness. You're going to end up the one behind the jail. You're going to end up the one behind bars. Why? She's moving on with her life. She done got her jollies off of getting you locked up. Got your life ruined to where if you do get out of jail, your life will never be the same, because when people pull up your criminal record, they're going to see domestic violence. They're going to judge you negatively automatically. They're not going to want the details. You think when you go get a job and they see you got domestic violence on your record, you think they're going to want to hear you say, well, actuality, sir, ma'am, she was the one beating on me. And when I decided to finally stand up and hit her back, people do not care. Once they see domestic violence on your record, that's it. You can't redeem yourself from that. Especially as a man. Especially as a man, once somebody sees domestic violence or battery on your record, you are tarnished for life. So what would you rather do? Take a chance and call the police on this woman and save your record, save your future, save your life? Or because you got so much pride, oh, I'm not calling the police, I'm not getting the law involved. That is what the law is there for. Because guess what? Women got to be held accountability for their actions too. We do. We have to be held accountable. And that's the bottom line. Don't do something, don't put something out there and you're going to have to live with it when it comes back and you're not ready to deal with the consequences. Exactly, Rep. Absolutely. If Rep says, I don't deal with women like that, I let them know from jump, if you disrespect or touch me, we are done. And that is the most sensible thing you can do. And I understand everybody's situation ain't cut out like that. Everybody cannot just drop the ball and leave. I get it. Especially when there's children involved. But if it gets to the point to where you have to put your hands on her, somebody needs to wave the truce flag and end it, or you better get the law involved so you can get custody of your children. Something's going to have to give. But it's a lot of guys out there, like I said, that are being emotionally and physically abused. Now, I just discussed with y'all about men who are physically abused, meaning that it's been men who have experienced women putting their hands on them, women getting more and more comfortable because they think the law's on their side. I'm a woman. I could put my hands on a man, and no matter what, I can cry wolf. I can act like Celie from The Color Purple and pull down in tears, and the law gonna automatically be on my side. Not true. Not true at all. But if you don't make a woman be held accountable, she's going to think that. She's going to think the law is going to always be on her side. Now, I told y'all I explained it from a physical aspect, but what about from an emotional standpoint? It's a lot of you men who are constantly getting emotionally abused. A woman is becoming more and more comfortable. Your baby mama getting more and more comfortable talking to you out your mouth, disrespecting you in front of y'all children. She telling you, you ain't shit. You don't make enough money. You ain't this. You ain't that. You sit up here and let the mother of your child disrespect you in front of your child. And because you want to avoid having to deal with the law, you want to avoid having to deal, you don't want her using the kids to her advantage because you know she has the majority of the control. You take all kind of nonsense. You take all type of disrespect. And what you're not understanding is, and I said this on a lot of my videos before, and I'll say it again. Exactly, Junk Pal, you're right. Yep, exactly, Newman. Accountability is a two-way street. We got to make people own they shit. It's just us bottom line. Type me like that, boy. Exactly. Yep. Seven. Yeah. So as I was stating is, if you as a man, you have children from a woman who's verbally, physically, and emotionally abusive, and he's up here degrading you, talking to you all. Exactly, Rep. Like Angela Bassett on Burton shit. Rep is a nut, I tell you. Rep is always saying the most craziest stuff. He be kicking some knowledge now, but he just not gonna say it in a nice way. Yeah. As I was stating, if it gets to the point to where the mother of your child is disrespecting you in front of your own child by talking to you reckless, exactly, Seven, like psycho. Yeah, and I'm going to talk about that. I'm glad you brought that up, Seven, because I'm going to talk about that. Because some of you brothers, y'all love these psychotic ass women. Y'all love them. Y'all love them. Y'all can't get enough of them. I don't know. I heard psychotic women got the best stuff. I don't know. You guys tell me. I ain't been with a woman like that, but that's what I heard. But anyhow, when a woman gets that comfortable with disrespecting you in front of your children, you know what's going to happen? Sooner or later, that same child is going to be disrespecting you too. That same child is going to disrespect you too. See, I got a lot of guys in my chat room now co-signing. What's up, Zero Kelvin? I got a lot of guys up in here co-signing, talking about psychotic women have the best punani. I'm going to tell you why. That's why a lot of y'all brothers are in a hostage right now. A lot of y'all in a hot ass mess right now because y'all letting what a woman has between her legs possess your common sense. That's why a lot of y'all are in a lot of hot mess ass situations right now. You too busy worrying about how she makes you feel like king of the jungle in the bedroom instead of looking at the fact the woman is psychotic. She got problems. She's a narcissist. You're too busy going by how great she is in the bedroom and how she makes you feel like king of the jungle. And it's making you overlook all your common sense. And guess what? That's what you're going to end up getting stuck with. You're going to end up getting stuck with a fool you can't get rid of. And crazy women is like, dealing with a crazy woman is like an STD. They're hard to get rid of. I don't care how much medication you take, a crazy woman is like an STD. You're not going to be able to get rid of it easily. So you take chances if you want to. Because she's so great in the bedroom. She crazy as hell. Let me tell you something. She bring enough misery in your life. You're not going to give a damn how good she is in the bedroom. You're going to want to get away from her. That's what's going to happen. And the sad part is, if you get children from this kind of woman, the bad part is when you move on in the next relationship, now another woman who had nothing to do with your craziness got to deal with the bullshit you done bought to her. That's the thing to you men. When you sit up here and you pick up these crazy ass, psychotic ass women, when you do get a woman that's worth something, you do get a woman that's a real woman, she's going to have to deal with your psychotic baby mama, your psychotic ex-wife, your psychotic. She's going to have to deal with that. When you get attached to these women, especially when y'all have children, that means the next woman is going to have to deal with that. Do you not understand? Another woman, you bringing another headache. You bringing a headache into another woman's life that had nothing to do with the chaos you created, all because this psychotic chick had good punani. Exactly. Junk Pile says the punani is the devil is witchcraft. Exactly. I'm telling you, you guys, y'all getting too old to still be going by how great a woman is in bed. Y'all should be past that. Y'all, that's for them young guys who don't know no better. If you're over 35 years old, you should not still be getting whooped. You should still not be getting whooped. Y'all too old for that. That's for them young guys who don't know no better. You over 30 years old, you should know better by now. It don't matter how good a woman is in bed. If she's psychotic, if she's mentally unstable, if she's damaged goods, what good is that? You need to run for the border. Exactly, peace cobbler. You need to run from that. You need to stop worrying about how good she look, how great she is in bed. Because you're going to regret it. You're going to be one of those brothers that's going to look back on your life and you're going to hate yourself. You're going to hate yourself. You're going to hate the day, you're going to be damned the day and the hour you ever met that broad. And if you have any children from her, Lord help you. Because that is a lifetime sentence. You have children from the wrong type of person, they're going to make your life miserable. And you can't get rid of them. You need to be very, very careful how you put yourself out there and who you put yourself out there with. As I stated to a lot of you guys in here, is that it's a lot, and the same thing for my women. It's a lot of guys out here that are getting abused. It's a lot of men that are being verbally, emotionally, and physically abused. You know, because again, at the end of the day, you have a lot of women. You got some women out there. Some of us as women are damaged goods. Some of us are damaged goods. Some of us have not came from the best of circumstances. And like I said, it's a lot of abused women, guys. It's a lot of psychologically damaged women that are walking around here. They look good. They dress good. They play the part. But mentally and psychologically, they're really damaged. You don't even realize some of these women have came from households to where they have been molested. As women, they have been abused as women. You know, somebody in their family, somebody who they trusted, their own father has molested them, their own uncles, their own brothers. It's a lot of women who are not looking like what they have gone through. It's women in your church, it's women on your job, and in some cases, it's even women in your own family. Some of these women are psychologically damaged because of things they have experienced in their childhood. And a lot of them have not gotten any psychological or spiritual counseling for that. A lot of women have not. So instead, what it does is it intoxicates them. It makes them more mean. It makes them more evil. It makes them more heartless. It's a lot of women out here that are damaged goods. What else do y'all know about besides some sex? That's easy, like Sunday morning. Exactly, Rep. Exactly. You have to have, as I stated before, you need to do your research when it comes to dealing with some of these women. Make sure they're not psychologically damaged. Again, some of these women come from very abusive backgrounds. It's things they experienced in their childhood. You know, some of them have been molested. Some women have been raped. And if they've experienced stuff like that at a young age, before they became a full-grown woman, do you not understand how stuff like that can psychologically damage you? Do you not understand that? It's a lot of women who have experienced all type of issues from their childhood. And if you experience a woman like that, she's definitely going to be verbally and physically abusive. Very. Truth of my heart, I've never thing to say after that moment. Let's see. Yeah, I got you. Same thing for you ladies out there. If you're dealing with a man who has been abused, he come from a very rough childhood. He had a mother who wasn't really a mother. You know, he's seen his mother, you know, been with all kind of men, you know, all stuff like that. It psychologically takes a toll on you. As things that you experience in your childhood, it takes on a whole, it comes back to haunt you in your adulthood. Whether you're a grown man or you're a grown woman. You know, but again, we need to stop acting like abuse is just something that women go through. Because a lot of you men out here getting abused. You got some women who are bad mouthing the father of their children. You know, he don't do enough. He don't give me enough money. He don't do this. He don't do that, or whatever. And the bottom line is, you know, you get enough of money. You get what you need. But what it is, you want him to give. You want him to give you so much to the point to where you can impress other people. It's all about impressing your girlfriends. It's all about impressing your family. You have a lot of women out here who got fathers of their children who contribute. The men spend time with the children. The men do all they can. Yes, exactly. You have some baby mothers out there, they're very materialistic. It's more than child support. They want you to give them X amount of money where they can impress other people, where they can showboat to other people. People who get other. Yep, and you 100% right about that, Muhammad. Thank you for coming in. Yes, it becomes a generational curse. And if a woman has been molested, and again, we don't want to talk about problems like this because, again, we think problems like this only happen in the white households. And that's not true. You have a lot of black families, a lot of families within the black community. They want to sweep stuff under the rug. You know, they grew up in a household where the father was the molester, or the uncle who used to live with them was the molester, or the mama's boyfriend was a molester. It's a lot of households in the black community that experience this. We see it every day. If you look on YouTube, if you hear on the news, every time you turn around, some woman, some black single mother, because that is the majority of it is happening to us as black women. Now, you do have some white women that do experience it, but the majority of us is happening to these black women. Moving these men in your households, not really knowing them from Adam. And the sad part is, you know, these men get in your households, they prey on you and they prey on your children. They prey on your children's innocence, and they prey on your vulnerability. If you are a woman and you are lacking low self-esteem, you desperate, you thirsty, you so badly want a man, you will invite that man into your life without doing your research, without checking to see what kind of history this man has. And then some of y'all are so bold, y'all get so comfortable, y'all leave y'all kids alone with these men for hours while y'all go work at a job that, you know, your job is like an 8-hour job, 10-hour job. You know how much could go wrong in 8 hours? A lot of women don't even check these men's background. They don't check their criminal record. They won't even check their local jurisdiction. They check to check their area to see if the child is a registered sex offender. And I tell women all the time, registered sex offenders are not just ugly, creepy looking old men. Okay, registered sex offender, I've seen here in Chatham County where I live. I check my local county registered sex offenders list every other couple of months. And when I tell you, I see some very attractive, nice looking guys. I would have never known they like children. It's a lot of sickles out there who like children, who rather sexually get involved with the child. They don't want a woman, they want a child. And if you women are desperate or thirsty, you will overlook that. As our women be baby also one man to get them pregnant also. That's why I flush my DNA. Yep, rep, you have to. You have to, because now, unfortunately, that has become a hood hustle. It's a lot of women out here who are intentionally getting pregnant and having children as a means to get a paycheck. And if you are a simple guy, you're a simple dude, and you let the man downstairs think for the man upstairs, then guess what? You're going to have some problems. Don't let that head run this head. And it's a lot of you guys that are doing that, you know, just because, let me tell you something, to all you men, just because the opportunity presents itself, that don't mean to take it, okay? That don't mean to take it. Just because it's easy, that does not mean to take it just because it's easy. Just because she's offering it to you on a silver platter, okay, that does not mean to take it. Some things you need to turn down. Just because it looks good to you does not mean it's good for you. Guys, it's okay to turn coochie down sometimes. It's okay. I promise you, you will not lose no sleep. Okay? It is not the end of the world if you reject a woman who wants to give you a free lay. Okay? It is not the end of the world. Trust me, you will not hate yourself. Because if she's offering it to you easily, you have to understand there's a catch-22 behind it. It's a catch. Do not make yourself believe that you are so smart you can't get got. Because some of these women out here got so many tricks like you've never seen before. And one thing about it is that whores are constantly updating the game. They're constantly updating the game. And you have to be careful. They're coming up with new schemes, new tricks every day. And the more you keep dealing with the same chick, the more you keep screwing her, you're going to get comfortable somewhere. You're not going to cross all your T's and dot your I's. And you have some of them, they don't have a problem with you getting it as much as you want. They don't have a problem. They will never turn you down. Anytime you want it, you know why? Some women will never turn you down. If you have a chick that lets you hit it anytime you want, she don't question you. She don't give you a hard time. I don't care what time you call her. Hey, you gonna let me blah, blah, blah. And she never turn you down. It's an accident waiting to happen. She's not turning you down because she wants you to get comfortable. Because somewhere you're going to slip. I don't care how much you wear protection. I don't care how much you remember to flush it down the toilet. I don't care. Eventually you're going to get comfortable. Or sometimes a woman will let you lay her as much as you want. Because that's her way of making you get comfortable. Eventually, you're going to get comfortable. You're not going to keep sleeping with the same woman or sleeping with too many women for that matter, and you don't mess up somewhere. Somewhere you will get got. Do not let the man downstairs run the head upstairs. Stop lying to yourself and making you think you don't underestimate. What I'm saying is don't underestimate your opponent. Because a lot of you guys, y'all let y'all egos get in the way. You think because she ugly, you can get over on her. You think because she fat, you get over on her. You think because she white, you get over on her. You think because she young, you get over on her. You think because she old. The same women who sit there and play stupid, dumb, and senile will be the main ones that will get your ass when you least expect it. And now you looking crazy like, I don't know how that happened. I don't know how this happened to me. I can tell you how it happened to you, brother, because you got comfortable and you underestimated your opponent. Stop underestimating these women. And then some of you guys, y'all think y'all playing it safe because you just mess with a certain type of group of women. You will sit up there and tell yourself, well, as long as I avoid this kind of woman, as long as I stay away from black women, I ain't got this problem. As long as I stay away from attractive women, I ain't got this problem. You do not underestimate your opponent. Okay, you got some white, ain't just white black women. You got some white snow bunnies that would take your ass to the cleaners just like Keisha. Let me tell you something. Becky would take your ass to the cleaners just like Keisha, okay? If anything, Becky gonna take you even harder because guess what? The law is already on Becky's side as it is. You know, and I'm not saying that as a racist statement, but let's just be for real. We're in a world today where there's still a lot of racism issues. You're not going to win. But a lot of the problem is you think a lot of you guys, y'all think y'all playing it safe because you only deal with a certain type of woman. The same women you think you playing the smart with, that'll be the same one that'll turn around and burn you. I've seen it happen 1,000 times. I've seen it 1,000 times. It ain't just the pretty women. It ain't just the ugly women. It ain't just the white women. It ain't just the black women. A woman. Okay? Junk Pile says Suzanne is worse than Becky. Junk Pile, you a mess. But it's the truth. You can't sit up here and figure because you're on one side of the fence. Oh, this side of the fence, I ain't going to have them problems as long as I'm over here. That's not true. A woman is a woman. It don't matter if she black, white, Puerto Rican, young, old. When a woman wants to burn you, she gonna burn you. Regardless. Okay? Regardless. Every woman has an evil side, okay? Every woman has an evil side. It just takes you to do something to provoke that. I don't care if she white. I don't care if she black. Every woman has an evil side. Do not sit up here and figure, oh, only these kind of women. Oh, it's only these black women. It's only, I don't care what color she is. You piss off, she gonna burn you. Every woman got an evil twin. Hell, I even got an evil twin. All of us do. You piss that woman off, you're gonna see a side of her. I don't care. Becky, Suzanne, Keisha, Bianca. It don't matter. You piss a woman off, she gonna get evil on your ass, and it's as simple as that. Okay? It don't matter. So please take the stereotypes out of your mind. Stop putting women in a category. All black women, all black women, all black. If you piss off the wrong white woman, she'll burn your ass too. You better ask Tiger Woods. Tell you, the white men, they go through it too. They go through it. I mean, they got some stories. I've had white guys on my job tell me how their ex-wife took them for everything they had. And it go both ways. I cannot stand stereotypes. I cannot stand when you have, and women do it too. You got some women that'll say, oh, well, only black men, only white men. It don't matter. You piss a man off, he gonna burn you. You make anybody angry, you piss anybody off, you're gonna bring out that side of them. You're gonna bring out that ugly side. It got nothing to do with color. Ladies and gentlemen, take the stereotypes out of your mind and stop making yourself think you playing it safe because you only deal with certain type of men. I've heard, or certain type of women. I've heard women say, I don't mess with guys in America. I mess with foreign guys. And get with a foreign guy, find out he crazy too. I've heard men say, I don't deal with women in America. I only deal with women. Let me tell you something. A woman, a man, a man. You know, you push somebody the wrong way. You provoke somebody the wrong way. We all got an ugly side. You know what I mean? It got nothing to do with color. It really doesn't. It has nothing to do with color. You rub anybody wrong, you're going to have some problems. Rep says, I am too old to be going through BS. If a woman is not mentally, spiritually, and physically. And that is my point. Thank you, Rep. That is the point. Exactly, T193. Crazy don't discriminate. Rep just said a mouthful. A woman has to be mentally, spiritually, and physically right. Thank you. Rep, I got a prize for you behind curtain number 2. I just don't know what the hell it is yet. But you made a very good point. That's what it's about. It's about finding people that are mentally, spiritually, and physically right. I don't care if they're from another nation. I don't care if they're from America. I don't care if they black, white, if they grew up in a single parent household, if they grew up in a household with both parents. You need to find people that are spiritually, mentally, and physically in tune. Because guess what? All of us have issues. Even when my husband married me, I had my own baggage. I came to him still struggling some areas in my life. I've had I came with my own emotional baggage. I came with my own mental baggage. The thing is, finding somebody who has issues that you can deal with. Because the bottom line is, I don't care what man or woman you deal with, he or she is going to have issues. I promise you. There is no such thing as the perfect man or the perfect woman. It's not going to happen. And women, we've always been, you know, and I can't just say women though, because men the same way. Y'all have y'all perception of what y'all think is the best woman for y'all. She got to look this way. She got to weigh this much. She got to have long hair. She got to have this. Let me tell you something. If y'all are not compatible, if y'all are not spiritually compatible, mentally compatible, emotional compatible, it does not matter. Y'all are both going to fail one another. That's the whole bottom line. We have all these stigmas of what we consider as what's the best type of man or what's the best type of woman for us. Sometimes the best type of man or the best woman for you is the one you least expect to be with. That's usually how it happens. It's never what you have in mind. Because I'm going to be honest with you. All of the men who I thought was my type, the problem was I wasn't their type. I was never their type. I would always have my mind set on a certain type of guy I wanted before I got married. He had to be this. He had to have a certain type of height. He had to have a certain type of occupation. But guess what? Them brothers wasn't feeling me. They was not feeling me like that. That's the thing. Just because you have a mind as a man, you might want this kind of woman. That don't mean that woman gonna want you. That don't mean she gonna want you, because in your mind, I want to be with this kind of woman. She may be your type, but that don't mean you're going to be her type. Your type don't always work for you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to put that out there on the table. Your type may not be right for you. And sometimes the type of person you least expect to be with is the person that ends up being compatible, because sometimes opposites do attract. If you got too much of the same thing, that's where a lot of people start clashing. If you with a woman who she looks good, for instance, if you're the kind of man, this is just a hypothetical situation. If you're the kind of man, you are into your looks. You love how you look. You one of them brothers, you go to the gym, you keep yourself up, you dress nice, look good, smell good. Let's just say you one of them brothers. You keep yourself physically together all the time. Okay? And you want a woman that's going to be the same way. You want a woman who cares about her looks, who stays in the gym like you, who looks good like you, takes care of her body like you, because that's what you do. Okay, I get it. All right? Do you not realize that because y'all got so many similarities, that is where the conflict is going to meet and encounter itself? When you put too much of the same thing together. If me and you share the exact principles and beliefs, sometimes you need that differentiate. I can't talk today. Sometimes you need that. It's the word I'm saying. Different. I can't say it. Y'all get what the hell I'm saying. My coffee ain't kicked in. What I'm saying is sometimes you need that balance. That's probably the better word. You need that balance. You both don't need to think the same. You both don't need to look at things the same. You both don't have to always have the same exact beliefs. Because as the scenario I used, if I'm so concerned with my looks and you so concerned with your looks, and we both got that same belief, then what's going to happen is I'm so into how I look, I'm not worried about really if our relationship is working, because I'm too busy concerned about how I look and you too busy concerned about how you look. Sometimes opposites do attract. As I could rep, you do have to go by vibe, and vibe runs into the same alignment with chemistry, and that's true, rep. You have to have chemistry. You have to be able to connect. And that connection comes from mentally, as you mentioned earlier, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And I don't mean when I say connect physically, I'm not just talking about sexually in the bedroom. Physically, as far as can y'all spending time together, being around each other. You're around her family. She's around your family. That's what it's all about, is connecting. The problem is people have learned to put sex before chemistry, and that's what that is what has a lot of men and women in toxic ass relationships right now, because they're too busy connecting in the bedroom, but there's no mental connection. There's no spiritual connection. If the only time y'all can connect is in the bedroom, y'all cannot sit down like two grown ass individuals and have a real conversation, some real dialogue, talk about plans in the future, talk about goals, talk about having a relationship with God. You should be able to this is how you know let me give y'all a sign. This is how you know you can really connect with a person. If you and that person can be around each other and connect with each other, and you still enjoy each other's company even without the sex, that's when you know you have chemistry. If you just like being around that person and it has nothing to do with sex, that's when you know you've met somebody who's spiritually, mentally compatible with you. That's when you know. That is when you know. If y'all can just enjoy each other's company alone, if the only time you can find some type of enjoyment with them is when y'all are having sex, then there's no chemistry. Because y'all should be able to connect with each other outside of the sex. The sex is supposed to enhance the relationship, not connect it. There's too many people that are using sex to keep the relationship glued together. And that is not the case. Sex is supposed to enhance the relationship, not connect it. You cannot have a connection based off sex. I guarantee you, y'all are going to get tired of each other real quick. You will get tired of each other real quick. If the only time y'all can have fun with each other is if y'all in the bedroom, come on. It has to be something more fulfilling outside of that, other than the only time y'all interested in each other is if y'all are in the bedroom. That's the only time you really into him. He's into you. Y'all got to be banging it out. Something is wrong with that equation. Something is totally wrong with that. If that is the only time y'all can connect, that is not good, because what's going to happen is when y'all have real problems, real situations, real responsibilities, guess what? Sex is not going to always be the solution. Y'all going to have to deal with the real issue at hand. Y'all going to have to really communicate. Y'all really going to, shit's going to happen. Stuff is going to get real. Things happen. You know, y'all going to experience tragedy. Y'all going to lose loved ones. It's going to be things that are going to happen in that relationship that's going to be very detrimental, which means y'all are going to need to connect other than just the bedroom. Y'all got to know how to communicate. Y'all have to have a connection. Y'all have to have a chemistry. As a man, you should be able to call your woman when you're having a bad day. Not just you having a bad day, you want some head. You want some head. You want a woman to get you off because you having a bad day. That shit gonna get old after a while. You need your woman that can spiritually uplift you. Emotionally uplift you. What good is it if she's only helping you bust a nut here and there? When you done bust a nut or two, how is that fulfilling you? That's just temporary stimulation for the moment. You can't just jump in the bed every time y'all have a problem or every time there's something going wrong. You're going to have to learn how to deal with adult situations in an adult manner, other than just going to bed, taking each other to bed. Or you having a rough day, things are not going right in your life. You know, you have some people, they feel like they could only preserve or only maintain by constantly having sex. And it's not enough. It is definitely not enough. Let me put my freaking battery in there. Yeah, because my phone kind of died a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, but you're going to have something more fulfilling. You're gonna have to stimulate each other other than just stimulate each other sexually. Sex will get old. It will play out. You cannot medicate your problems with sex. You have issues in your relationship, issues in your marriage, issues amongst each other, and y'all are not on the same page. You're not going to be able to keep medicating your problems with sex. I guarantee you, it's going to get old. It's going to have a point. It's going to come a point where you guys, you as a man and her as a woman, y'all are going to have to come together mentally and spiritually and to deal with y'all problems. You can't just jump in the sack every time y'all have a problem or y'all going through something. Yeah, 7 says, vibe is like music to me, not all up to what it seems to be. Very, very true. EE says, sex craze, yep. Vibe runs deeper than any physical attractions. When both parties are vibing, either one will be thinking or tricking one another. And if you're into, your spirit will let you know. Absolutely. Absolutely. More people need to learn how to make their relationships spiritually based instead of sexually based. It's too many people that thinks sex is the foundation to a relationship. Thank you, Deep Boys. Thank you for the $10 donation. I appreciate you so much. If somebody else donated to me, I apologize if I didn't see your donation. I didn't do it on purpose. I'm probably so busy running my mouth. But thank you, Deep Boys. I appreciate it. And thank you to whoever else sent me a donation. Thank y'all so much. I'm very grateful. But you're going to have a relationship that has a spiritual foundation, a spiritual or emotional foundation, because it's going to come a point to where y'all are going to have real life situations. You're going to go through something. Your relationship is going to experience things. You're going to have trials and tribulations. And that's the problem. People do not know how to communicate with each other. You all will be surprised how many people in the same relationship and don't know a goddamn thing about each other. Don't know nothing. You have some people, they're more housemates. They're more roommates than soulmates. You got some people that are only together to pay the bills. They don't even have a real relationship. They don't even have a real connection. Y'all will be surprised how many men and women live under the same roof and there's no connection. They can't stand each other. They know nothing about each other. And that is not good. If y'all in a relationship and y'all live up under the same roof, that's the only way y'all just paying bills together. Y'all don't do anything together. Y'all don't go places together. Y'all don't spend time together. It's going to get very, very old real quick. It's going to get very old. You're going to have some type of spiritual or emotional connection. But as I stated earlier, because the main purpose of me doing this video was talking about men who are being abused. As men, if you know you're in a relationship and you're with the woman that's spiritually draining you, physically draining you, emotionally draining you, if you keep allowing yourself to remain in in an unhealthy relationship with a woman that's very toxic to your life, what's going to happen is she's going to drain so much of you to the point to where when there is a woman who is worth quality, who is worth substance, and she wants to be a part of your life, you're not going to be able to give yourself to her wholeheartedly because you gave too much of yourself to the wrong woman. You give too much of yourself, and it's the same thing. Just like you got some of these sisters out here that are scorned. Some of you brothers are scorned because you don't have one or two negative experiences with some sisters out there. You want to write all sisters off, okay? Or because this one wrong, that one wrong. Let me tell you something. That's your fault allowing somebody else to control you because you had one or two negative experiences. Now you want to write all women off, or you want to write all black women off, you want to write all white women off, or whatever, because you had one negative experience with a certain woman. That means that person still has control over your life. If I can do something to you that will make you not want to have nothing to do with black women for the rest of your life, that means I still control you. That means I still run your life. If it took me doing one bad thing to you to make you give up on black women completely, then guess what, guys? That black woman is still controlling you. She's still controlling you because you shouldn't allow one negative experience to make you write everybody off. Never give somebody that much power because that person could be cutting out a blessing. That person could be cutting out somebody that is worth of quality, that is worth of substance to you. That you lose your blessing. And the same thing with some of you sisters out there. Just because you keep running into, had 2-3 negative experiences with some black guys, you want to write off all black guys. Talk about all black men the same. All black men the same. No, you keep picking the same black men. And same thing with you men. All black women the same. No, you keep picking the same black women. Stop going after their ass and go after women who got some class. You won't have them kind of problems. A lot of y'all still have not changed your mindset. You can change. My thing is, you can be in a relationship. You can leave that man. You can leave that woman. You could turn around and get a better job. Turn around and do this. Turn around and do that. But if you have not changed your mindset, it don't matter. You still gonna find yourself in the same predicament, just with another black woman, just with another black man. Until you learn to change your mindset and you change your way of how you perceive things in life, you're going to keep ending up in the same situation. It does not matter. It don't matter if you leave Keisha to go to Becky. It don't matter if you leave Becky to go to Keisha. It don't matter. As long as your mindset and your mentality hasn't changed, It don't matter. You're gonna take, I don't care who she is, you're gonna take that next woman through hell regardless of what. Because your mindset hasn't changed. And the same thing with you women out there. It don't matter what kind of man you get with. You get with a man that got more money than the last man you had. You get with a man that does more for you financially than the last man did. But guess what? Your mentality hasn't changed. So you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna become a nuisance to that man's life, just like the last one. It does not matter, because a lot of us, the truth be told, a lot of us, we are our own worst enemy. You could change all the men you want. You could change all the women you want. A lot of us, we are our own worst enemy. Until we learn how to deal with our inner issues, it don't matter. You're going to sabotage any man or any woman that comes into your life, because basically at the end of the day, you got inner unresolved issues that you have not dealt with. And until you get to that point in life when you learn how to deal with yourself, a lot of us, we don't even get along with ourselves, but we want other people to get along with us. A lot of us, we don't even love ourselves, but we want other people to love us. A lot of us, we don't even have inner peace, but we want people to bring peace into our life. You know, we want people to make us feel happy when we don't have no inner happiness. If you have to depend on other people to make you happy, then what's going to happen when that person you depending on to make you happy walks out of your life and no longer wants anything to do with you? If your happiness is only based on having another person there to make you feel happy, then the sad part is, as soon as that person decides to walk out your life or something happens to that person, then you're going to be lost in the sauce. You're going to be lost in the cause, because you have learned to define happiness based on what other people do for you and based on how other people make you feel. And another thing, as I stated, and I know women, we have that. Women, we are definitely prone for that. A lot of us as women, we think as long as a man is making extra money, as long as a man is buying us this and buying us that, as long as he's spending more money on us and making us feel relevant and making us feel important, we feel like, now I'm going to be happy. If only I had a man who did do this, or if only I had a woman who would do that. It don't matter how much another person does for you, until you learn how to have fulfillment within oneself, that person will never be able to do enough to please you. Or if they do something to please you, it's just going to be temporary. You're still going to be looking for more. Exactly, Rip. You're still going to look for more. You're still going to find something negative, because, again, a lot of us are lacking with self-worth. A lot of people are lacking with self-worth. So it don't matter how much a person invests in us. If we cannot invest in ourselves and we cannot make our own selves whole, it don't matter. You're gonna find yourself in the same position. And you can be with somebody and still feel lonely. A lot of people are in relationships and are still lonely, and it has nothing to do with what the other person is doing or what the other person ain't doing. Some people are going to always feel lonely no matter what, because they're not whole. They're not complete within oneself. You're not complete in oneself. You're going to always be on the outside looking in. I can co-sign on the truth myself. I had expected my husband to do a lot to make me feel whole. It's a lot that I had looked for him to do. I looked for him to make me happy. I looked for him to spend more time with me, spend more money on me, tell me I'm beautiful every day, tell me I'm this, tell me I'm that. And no matter how much he would try to fulfill those voids, it was never enough, because at the end of the day, really, I was lacking my own self-worth. So it wasn't but so much he could do, even as my husband, even as my companion. That was a void I had to fill. And that's what a lot of women, of us as women, we need to get to the point to where you need to stop trying to impress your girlfriends. Stop trying to impress your mama. Stop trying to impress your daddy. Stop trying to impress people by making your man reach demands that he can't even afford to reach. But you're trying to make him be something that he's not in a position to be, because you're too busy trying to impress the wrong people in your life. You're trying to impress people. What's up, Donetta? Good to see you. I apologize about the live chat that I was supposed to do Friday night, y'all. I know last week I told everybody I was going to do 9 o'clock Friday night chat. I was so burnt out. I'm still in process of training. in a police academy right now. So, when I get my weekends, my body just shuts down because they got us doing a lot of physical stuff. I'm doing a lot of running. I'm doing sit-ups and push-ups. I'm doing a lot of physical stuff that I'm not used to doing. So I be worn out. I tell you, my knees hurt me so bad. I feel like I've been a prostitute standing on every damn street corner. I promise you. That's how bad my knees is hurting me. I'm serious. I am hella tired. I promise y'all. But I came on to do this little quick live chat because I know I owed it to y'all because I told everybody I was going to do it 9 o'clock and I didn't get a chance to do it. But I'm telling you, I just been so crazy. It's just, I've been very exhausted. But yeah, you have to be careful who you try to please because they will basically drain you. You get with the wrong type of man or the wrong type of woman in your life, people will drain you. You got a lot of what I call spiritual vampires out here. You have a lot of spiritual vampires that will suck you dry spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. So it's one thing when you're trying to please your mate, but it's another thing to the point where pleasing them is draining you. That's where you have to read in between the lines. There's nothing wrong with trying to make your man happy, your woman happy, but it's to the point where you know you have stretched yourself so thin and it's still not enough. They're telling you you're not doing enough. You're still not making me feel whole. I still don't feel complete. I still don't feel like you doing all for me like you can do. Then now at that point, it's not even about you no more. Now it's about them not having any self-fulfillment. Some people just don't have any self-fulfillment. And everybody ain't in your relationship. Exactly, EE. And again, we have to get out of this mode of trying to impress folks. Get out of this mode of this image. I got to make my relationship look perfect. I got to make a crazy ship. Yeah, you have a lot of people that are in crazy ships. And then you have a lot of women that are with homosexuals. Meaning they just got a man that stays with them to give them sex. You got a lot of homosexuals. They don't want a relationship with these women. They just want a place to stay. You got a lot of them too. And you got a lot of these women sit up here claiming a lot of homosexuals and not realizing that he's only in the picture because he needs a place to stay. He done burnt a lot of bridges and he don't have no place to stay. He can't go stay with his sister no more. He can't go stay with his mama no more. You got a lot of homosexuals out there. And then you have some women, and then, you got some women out here, they don't want to be a helpmate to the man. They want the man to do all the work. They want the man to make all the sacrifices. And meanwhile, she sits there and she enjoys the fruit. And he's slaving. And he's spiritually and physically draining himself, trying to please her. Also, she could put up a front to her girlfriends and put up a front to her parents. Oh, look at me. Look at us. Oh, we live in this kind of house. Oh, we driving this kind of car. Oh, we got this and we got that. And meanwhile, behind closed doors, dude is suffering. He's miserable. He about to have a stroke because he got to work all these hours to try to pay for a lifestyle he know he's in no position to fulfill. And some of you guys, you start that off, that woman's going to look for you to do that. Do not start something you can't finish. If you know you the kind of dude, you work just enough to maintain bills and you doing the best you can, don't be sitting up here trying to live up the expectations that you can't reach. She got you, as I stated before, for everybody who come in. It's a lot of men who are under a lot of pressure because they are with a woman that has them living a lifestyle that they know they can't afford. It's some men who done bought these houses, paying these expensive mortgages, $1,500 a month, $2,000 a month, all because they want to please the woman they love. And the woman they love is too busy trying to impress family and impress friends, and she's trying to impress friends who don't even got half as much as she got. Yeah, exactly, Rollo. It's all about competition. She moves in with me or she break it back. I pay my mortgage, but I will get out and move on. Exactly. Exactly. You would give yourself a stroke trying to impress people. And I know a lot. I know I had a man in my family who went through that. He said he paid the price trying to do everything his wife wanted him to do. Because she came from a family that was well off, That's why I get attacked when they can't control me. Exactly, 7. That's very true. I had a man say that before. I had a man tell me, he said he made his life complicated trying to please a woman. He put himself in debt trying to please a woman. He worked 2-3 jobs trying to please her because she came from a family that was used to having the best of things in life. If you want a man that has the best of things in life, then that's who you need to be with. Marry you a lawyer. Marry you a doctor. You can't get with no man that work at Lowe's or work at Home Depot, and you trying to get this man to move into a house with a mortgage, $2,000 a month. That's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. You want to live the good life. That's what you want. That's what you need to find. But even with that, ladies, it's a catch to that. Because the much is given, much is required. Even if you meet a man that can meet the demands of putting you in the big home houses and buying you the nice cars and buying you this and buying you that, keep in mind, that man is going to be gone many nights, many days out of the week. Because when you're dealing with a money maker don't sleep, ladies. A money maker don't rest, ladies. Men who make a lot of money are always on the move. That means they're not going to always have time for you. So be careful what you wish for. You might want a man that make big money and got this and got that. But let me tell you something. Women who are married to men that make big money, married to lawyers, married to doctors, you better make sure you are fit to deal with the man of that status, because it takes a special kind of woman to deal with a man that's a moneymaker. Because he may have to be gone out of town for weeks at a time. Can you deal with that? If you want them Michael Kors and them Coach bags, and you want that $2,000 a month, 6-7 bedroom house, and you want that Mercedes in your yard, you want that BMW in your yard, you want all this materialistic life, then keep in mind that comes with a sacrifice. That man is going to have to work. You may have a pocket, you may have a closet full of pocketbooks and shoes and red bottoms, but guess what? He ain't never going to be there to see none of that, because he's too busy working and providing. Too much is giveth, much is required. That's the bottom line. You want a man to spend time with you, then guess what? You can't have it both ways. You got some men who can spend a lot of time with you, but guess what? That's probably because he ain't hardly working, or he not working at all. You can't have it both ways. You can't sit up here and complain that a man doesn't spend enough time with you. He doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. But at the same time, if you want to live a certain lifestyle, you got to go with the flow. You want to marry a lawyer, a doctor, attorney, guess what? Attorneys could be going out of town for days at a time. I mean, you want a doctor? You want to marry somebody that's famous. You want to marry a rapper. You want to marry a musician. You know what be going on them roads. You know what happens on them roads. I mean, it's a lot that comes with the territory. Be careful what you pray for. Be careful what you wish for, because everything, the grass is not always greener. While you have a man that may not be making a lot of money, but he's paying the bills, he's maintaining for the most part, he making sure you straight, he keeping gas in the car, he keeping food on the table, consider that a blessing. You around here trying to stress the brother, you want him to work more hours, you want him to make more money and do this and do that. Realize it's a lot that comes with that territory. Because he has options. Yeah, that's very true, 7. Take care of myself, and I would have put myself in a hole for someone who would not be beneficial. Absolutely, Rep, and that's perfect common sense. You never put yourself in a hole to a person that's not promised to you. And it's a saying goes, you lose them the way you get them. Men do not start off spoiling these women and doing a whole lot of stuff that you know you're not going to be able to do for a lifetime. Don't start her off like that. This is not to say don't do nice things for her. Yeah, if that's your woman, do nice things. Take out to dinner. Buy her a nice pocketbook. Do little nice stuff here and there. But don't make it a habit. Because when habits get broken, she done got used to you doing things a certain way because you presented yourself like this big money man, like you got so much money, you can do this and you can do that, and you gave her a fake facade of what you could pretend to do for her, making her think you got it like that, making her think you balling out and you well off, and you know you struggling. The moment you can't do it, she's gonna have a hard time accepting that, because that you presented yourself as that type of person. Don't start off something that you know you're not going to be able to keep doing. Do not give somebody that type of damn don't give somebody in a habit of doing that. You know, because once a person, it comes a point when you start doing stuff like that, guys and ladies, it becomes more expected and less appreciated. That's what happens. Same thing with you women, because we do it too. Don't sit up there when you first get with a dude, you sexing him to death. You give him the best sex in the world. You never turn him down. You let him hit it every day of the week. You starting them off like that. Now y'all done been together 2-3 months. Now you only want to do it once a month. I mean, you got to be careful how you start people off, because it comes a point when people get to expecting what you have started. Now you're miserable because you finding yourself, you got to constantly do something you done started. And now that person is miserable because they done got used to you doing so much and you can't do it. I exactly T193, I know it. Women, we're guilty of that. We are guilty from that. You know? I did see. Oh, wanted some leadership. Very true, 7. Women should let guys move in where the guy probably didn't have decent males growing up around him. Women should let guys. Yeah, that's true, Jubilee. We just have to be very careful when it comes to moving people within our household, because everybody don't have good intentions in moving in with somebody, especially if y'all have not known each other for a long time. I do not recommend it. I do not recommend it until y'all at least been dating for a couple of years. I'd say maybe 3 to 4 years. I don't recommend anybody move in with anybody. I really don't. Because I think that's too fast and hasty of a move. You need to take time to get to know a person for a while before you make that kind of commitment to moving in with one another. Better to find your life mate when you're younger before either of you get fame. And you know what? And that's a true statement, Muhammad. You know, sometimes, you know, young relationships, there's always a catch. You know, a lot of times, you know, when you're young, you know, when you started dating each other young, you go through a lot of struggles together. You go through a lot of ups. You go through a lot of downs. And what happens is, as you both age together and you mature together, that's when the maturity sets in. That's when you pretty much both get to a better place in life. But again, that takes a lot of maturity over the years. It takes a lot of maturity. I don't think we black men live in an era where we gotta have black love, but you gotta be very lucky. And believe it or not, D boys, it goes both ways. Black men and black women, we really don't give each other enough of love and support. It really goes both ways, because the problem with the black community, we're too busy trying to compete with each other. You got too many black women that are trying to overrule black men. You got black women trying to be more masculine than black men, and at the same time you have a lot of black men who are falling out of the leadership role. They want the woman to do everything. What's starting to happen with the black community is we are losing our roles, we are losing our positions. A lot of us, we are not standing in our blessed place. We don't know our role anymore. It's not, you don't have enough of black men that are being leaders. They're falling back. You got some, and I'm not saying this is for everybody. If it does not apply, you don't have to reply. But you have a lot of black men that are falling back. They're sitting on the passenger side and letting the woman do the driving. They're letting the woman lead, because a lot of them have given up on leadership. We do not have enough of black men being kings. It's not enough of black men that are running the show. Y'all are not leading anymore. Y'all are sitting on the passenger side, and hell, some of y'all ain't even sitting on the passenger side. Some of y'all are in the goddamn trunk. Y'all letting the women lead everything, and you wonder why a lot of these women, a lot of black women do not know their place, because it's too many of simps, and notice I said simps, not kings. It's too many simps that have gotten lazy. They have fell back and they want the woman to be in charge of everything. You guys, it's sad, but it's a lot of men who don't even like to work. Who would have ever thought in this day and age you would meet men who don't like to work? It's men who don't want to keep jobs. It's men who don't want to take care of their children. It's men who don't want to pay bills. Things back then that our grandfathers and great grandfathers found honorable. Back in the day, men was found it honorable to take care of a family. Back then, men was found it as an honor to have a wife, as an honor to have children, as an honor to have a family. Men back then treasured family. They valued family. But what has happened over the years is the dynamics have changed. And I'm not saying this is the case with all black men. If it does not apply, you don't have to reply. But what has happened is, what I'm starting to notice is, a lot of men are starting to see their families as a burden instead of a blessing. They're not finding it honorable anymore to take care of a family, to support a family. Slowly but surely, a lot of men are straying away from that. They're looking at their kids as a burden. They're looking at their wives as a burden. They look at their families as a goddamn headache, when your family should really be your legacy. You know, it's a lot of dudes that are straying away from that. Yeah, as I can T193, it done got to the point now to where you got men who are proud to be stay-at-home dads. Back in our days, it wasn't too many men who didn't play that. But you know what? Let me tell you something else about that T193. I noticed you made a good point. When you said there's a lot of guys that are glad to be stay-at-home dads, but guess what the other catch to that is? It's a lot of women who don't mind these men being stay-at-home dads. You got a lot of women who are lazy with their own children. You have some women who would rather work and avoid having to take care of their children, and they leave the man at home to keep the kids while they go to work. These men are not becoming stay-at-home dads if these black women wasn't supporting it. It's a lot of black women, they would rather work, and if it does not apply, you don't have to reply. Let me rephrase that. Some black women, they would rather work a 9 to 5 and bring the check home than to stay home with their own kids. You have a lot of black women who keep having children that they don't have no patience for. They don't want to be bothered with them. I've known some black women who would rather leave their kids with the baby daddy at home. He ain't even got to work. He don't even have to work. Yes, I'm stepping on some toes. Wake the hell up. You have some black women, they do not mind having a man to stay at home and keep the kids while she works, because some black women have gotten lazy. They do not want to keep their own kids. They would rather go to work and hit a time clock than to stay home, cook, clean, and take care of their children. They want the men to do it. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, we have lost the dynamics within the black family, because the roles and the roles have shifted. The positions have shifted. What's up, Simply Deep? Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. Yeah, you have some women, they are very comfortable. Some women don't want a man to work. They don't. They want that man to work. It's sad, but you got some women, they don't want a man to work because she feels like as long as he home, she ain't got to worry about him cheating, which is the most ridiculous thing. I know this woman one time, she worked her ass off. She always work, and because she didn't want to be bothered with her own children, so she left her husband at home to keep the kids while she worked. Don't you know he was banging a chick out across the hall who was a stay-at-home mom, like he was a stay-at-home dad? He was banging the chick out right across the hall the whole time. It's sad, but you know, it happens. It goes on a lot more frequently than we think. Oh, Peace Cobbler said, I need to call a couple of family. What's up, Life Machine? Yeah. But I'm gonna let me. I mean, it's the truth. A lot of women, they do not. Again, the problem with the black community is we have lost our place. We have lost our place. Men, y'all are not leading anymore. Y'all letting the woman lead. Y'all letting the woman lead. Y'all letting her call the shots, and you wonder why a lot of women don't know their place. The problem, guys, a lot of women do not know their place, because it's too many of you men Too many men that are falling back from leadership. There's too many men that are falling back from leadership. And what has happened is a lot of women have learned to wear both hats. What's up, Life Machine Power? I'm sure you'll be going on live tonight. Let me see. If you're going on live tonight, I might try to catch you. Or whatever, if you come on live tonight, depending on all of what I got to do. But yeah, it's too many. It's too many of us. We done lost our positions. Women is not being women. Men are not being men. Women are not taking care of their children like they're supposed to. Men are not being the leaders of their household like they're supposed to. It's a lot of us that are out of pocket, which is why we got the problems we have. We have lost the dynamics of what family is supposed to be. Like I said, back then, black men were very proud to have wives. Men were very proud to have families. Women strived back then to be wives. Women did not strive to just be baby mamas. Okay? Women back then didn't just want a baby daddy and a child support check. Women back then wanted families. Women wanted to give their children the blessing of having a mother and a father. Not just money hitting her EPT card or child support hitting her debit card and hitting her bank account every month. Women back then wanted families. Women today are not striving for families. They're not striving for husbands. They're striving for a paycheck. They're striving just for a baby daddy. And that's why the children are losing the process. And children today are being cheated out of so much stuff. That's why children are not being blessed with having real grandmothers, real grandfathers and stuff, because the dynamics have changed. People don't want family no more. A lot of women just want paychecks. They don't want fathers. They want a dollar. Okay? Women are no longer interested in having a father. They're interested in having a dollar. And that is why we have the problems we have. And that is why the majority of these single parent households have so many problems. If you think about the criminal justice system, most of the prison facilities are filled up and piled up, and the majority of them come from single parent households. Now, I'm not saying that all single mothers don't have their shit together, because you do have some single mothers who have very successful children. And you do have some children who came from households with mothers and fathers and still are screwed up adults. But the majority of screwed up black males and young black females come from single parent households, because there is not a mother and a father in the home. And children have lost that balance. These days, children need mother and father, not just a paycheck. Okay? And because the problem is, a lot of these single moms, they think they could raise these young black men. No to you single black mothers out there. I'm not knocking your credibility as a single mom. I'm not knocking your credibility as a woman. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of black women, we are not equipped to raise these young black men. We're not equipped for it. We are not equipped. Yes, we can guide them. Yes, women, we can teach our sons right from wrong. Yes, we can teach them, guide them. But it takes another man to teach them how to be a man. I'm sorry. If you want to take it personal, you want to get offended, you cannot, black women, we cannot raise these young black men alone. You can't. Because it's going to be things that your young black son is going to go through out there in the world. You can't relate to it as a black woman. You can't. You can't. You're going to need to allow a man to be in his life to teach him how to endure things as a grown-ass man. You are a woman. You do not have all the masculine tools to teach that young son of yours how to be a man. And that's why a lot of these young black men are so lost in the sauce, because they don't have that masculine balance. There's not a father in the home, or these women, they're too busy concerned about the check. They're not allowing the man to be there to have a significant purpose in the child's life. And you wonder why your son acts so feminine. And I'm not saying your son is feminine in the sense of being gay, because that's irrelevant. I don't care about anybody's sexuality. I don't discriminate against whoever. I'm not talking about feminine as in gay. Your son is feminine emotionally. He gets upset about all kind of petty stuff. He gets angry about all kind of, he don't have no emotional balance. It's because it's a lot of you, your sons, you're the only one raising him. He needs a man in his life to help him be, to help him balance his masculinity. If a young man is around his mama all the time, he's just going to keep adopting feminine characteristics. And I'm not saying like as him being gay, like he gonna act like a girl because his mama's a woman. That is not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is he's gonna be emotionally imbalanced. He's gonna be emotionally imbalanced because he needs a man to help him to keep himself helps him to keep his masculinity balanced. And the same thing for you men out there. If you're a single father, and you're raising a daughter, you need to teach your daughter. You need to allow a woman to be in your daughter's life to help her be a woman. A man cannot teach his daughter how to be a woman, and a woman cannot teach her son how to be a man. It's not going to work. God gave a child a mother and a father for a reason. A child needs both of those elements. But if you want to be Miss Badass and say, well, I don't need no man, I can raise my kids by myself, then you go right ahead. I guarantee you, your children are going to be troubled somewhere. They're going to fall short somewhere because you're not allowing their fathers to have an active role in their life to help keep that masculinity balanced. Let me see. Yeah, in the black community, as I said, we have lost our place. Men are not being leaders. Y'all are falling back. Y'all letting these women run everything. You don't even feel bad that your wife is working and you're not working. You don't feel bad that your woman is working and you're not working. You don't feel bad that your baby mama got to take care of your child and you don't even have a job. Now, I'm not saying that there's something wrong with men fall short. It came a time when my husband, his business wasn't doing well and I had to step up and I had to pay the bills for a while. I'm not talking about in that sense. We all fall short. We all got to take turns to support one another. I'm talking about these men who don't feel bad that they have lost their leadership. They don't feel bad about it. They don't feel bad that their woman got to work. They don't feel bad about it. They do not feel bad. And you women who singing a song about being independent. You love to be independent. As much as a lot of us stress that. You may love being independent, but sooner or later, you're going to get tired of wearing both hats. You're going to get tired of being a man and a woman. It comes to a point where you're going to look for that man to step up and be the leader that you want him to be. But a lot of you women out here, especially if you're dealing with a simp, and you tell that simp, I'm independent, I can do it all, guess what? He's going to let you do it all. If you want to be Miss Badass, you want to wear two hats, you don't mind being a man and a woman, then guess what? It's a brother out there that's going to let you do it all. No problem, 7. Keep in touch, 7. I thank you for coming in. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, 7. Yeah, if you want to be Miss Badass and you want to run the whole show, because you got some women, they like to be single because they feel like that gives them more of an advantage to run everything. And I'm not knocking single women. But my thing is, don't put up this front like you so happy to do it all by yourself. And at the end of the day, you're stressed out, you're overwhelmed because you have to do it all. Just because, and the same thing for these men, if you're in a relationship with a woman who does it all, just because she don't mind doing it all, that does not mean that you should let her. Because that is where you lose your identity as a man, when you allow your woman to be the man for you. And I understand everybody runs their households differently. Everybody run their household differently. You got some men, they don't mind being home, and the woman don't mind being home. Different strokes for different folks. But just don't lose your identity as a man because your woman is working. Make sure that you are still being a leader. Um, Rep says, I had a real dad who showed and taught me how to conduct and carry myself, and a mother who taught me how to man carry herself. Absolutely. And the problem is, Rep, is not too many of us who have that today. A lot of these children today that are coming up that's in their 20s, under their 30s, they're not going to get that same blessing. The majority of us in here who are 30, 35 and older, a lot of us have been blessed to be able to have real parents, real mothers, real fathers. A lot of these kids coming up, they're not going to have that luxury, because again, the tables have been turned. A lot of kings are not being kings anymore. A lot of the kings are becoming peasants. Y'all wearing the panties. There's a lot of men that are wearing the panties now, letting the women wear the pants. It's not too many of us that are keeping our position. So as the black communities, as black men, as black women, because I'm going to get ready to wrap things up, we don't need to be trying to compete with each other. We need to be completing with each other. We don't have to do all this competition. Black women, we do not have to come on YouTube dragging black men. We want our platforms to talk about black men ain't this and black men ain't that. And then you have some brothers who like to get on their platform and talk about black women ain't this and black women ain't that. And black women need to know their place. And black women do not know how to submit themselves. The problem is the black community needs to know how to be supportive of one another. We don't need to be dominating each other. Me as a woman, I don't have to display my place as a woman by trying to overrule what a man says or overrule what or how a man feels. And the same thing with you men out there. Even if your preference is not to deal with black women, or you're more comfortable dealing with certain type of women, that's cool, that's fine. But you don't need to discourage other brothers from wanting to have something with a black woman just because you gave up on black women. Don't go on your platforms talking about all black women ain't this, all black women ain't that, just because you had a couple of negative experiences with some of the black women you done met. Hell, maybe something was wrong with your ass. How is it every woman you dealt with, something wrong with them and something wrong with you? And the same thing with you women up here. As black women, we don't need to discourage other black women from building something with black men. We don't need to be getting on these platforms. We don't need to be getting on these channels talking about black men ain't this, black men ain't that, and black women that. We already, black men, black women, we are in the struggle together. It does not matter. We are all in the struggle together. So there's no need of knocking each other down. Let me tell you something. The world is doing that anyway. We don't have to help the world by bringing each other down. The world is going to do that regardless. Okay? So we don't have to add more insult to injury by dragging each other through the mud. But anyway, it has definitely been lovely. I know I went into a little over 2 hours. I did a little live. I allowed my chat to extend itself because I told all of y'all I was going to be with you Friday night, and I wasn't. Again, I'm in the middle of training at the police academy, so my time and my energy is a lot more limited. I have a lot that I'm doing right now, so probably for a little while it's going to mostly be live chats where y'all are going to catch me on or whatever for a while until I get through this training at the academy. But other than that, it has been awesome. I want to thank all of my subscribers, all of you who have donated. I thank y'all for all the positive love, all the positive energy, all the positive feedback. I'm so grateful for each and every one of y'all for making my channel such a success. I appreciate all my regulars, Rep, EE, Donetta, D Boys, Wake the Hell Up, Peace Cobbler, EJ Too Much, Life Machine, Muhammad, T193U, Simply Deep. Let me see. I'm gonna make sure I don't miss nobody out. I'm trying to call in as many people as possible. Yep, Rep. Let me see. EE. Junk Pile. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. Let me see. I think I got everybody. If I missed you, oh, Ace Newman. I appreciate you, Terrence Daniels. Zero Kelvin. I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss nobody. Let me see. I think I got everybody. I hope I did. If I missed you, I didn't leave you out intentionally. It's just a lot of people in the chat room and everything. But again, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. It is your girl, Lady Mocha, your diva of knowledge, representing Cafe de Paris. Remember, I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth and break you off with a slice of knowledge. Y'all have a wonderful weekend, and until the next time, in between time, y'all be safe. Love y'all, and again, I appreciate the support, and I appreciate all y'all positive energy. Y'all have a blessed one.